Alright, so my name's Kelly and it's Memorial Sunday, and this video is being made as an evaluation video for Junkman, who is going to look at my technique here to determine how to help get the best finish out of this amazing car. So here we are in my garage, and there's the beast. About 500 miles on this guy, 550, and it's a little hard to capture in photographs what's going on here with the paint, but especially because of the poor lighting here in the garage. But so what I've got is a situation where there's some swirl marks, in the paint, and probably some poor wet sanding that did never get finished out. And I was able to do a few things with some of this ultimate compound, and I'll show you this stuff right here, which is apparently junk, and so I've used some of that, but being unable to find any 105 mirror glaze, what I did have actually on hand from an old detailing session was some of the swirl-free polish here. And you'll notice that on the scale this stuff is about a 3, so it's a pretty light cut. The directions indicate that this might be heavy enough for what we're doing here, so probably okay to use this. And hopefully I'm not going to sand entirely through my paint. So equipment wise, what I have is a Griot's Professional Random Orbiter. It's a 6-inch disc, and I'm using the orange pads. A little hard to tell. There's some polish on there already from this mirror glaze, so it's a little hard to tell, but it is an orange pad, and I know that you said there's some better stuff to use, so we'll probably go ahead and invest in that at some point. But and I'm using this I guess pretty low speed. I probably could step that up and do more good. So any advice there on speed would be good. I'm going to go ahead and flip this on real quick just so you get an idea of kind of what RPMs we're talking about here. You may be able to tell more from sound than from sight, and maybe that'll mean something to you. If not, we'll go into more detail later. Okay, so pretty low RPM, just because I'm a novice and I don't want to, no sparks flying off of the car. So I'll go ahead and take a break here. I'm gonna have my son come and help me do some videotaping of this, so you can see my my technique. Basically, I'm buttering the pad directly as opposed to putting the product on the paint, and then sort of spreading it around my finger so that it's an even coat on the pad itself, and then I put the polisher directly on the paint before I turn it on, so I'm not slinging polish everywhere. And we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to take a break here, shut off the camera, and go round up my son. So be right back. Okay, so here I am. I've got my son behind the camera, and we're going to start on this this fender here, because this fender seemed like maybe they never finished the wet sanding job. There was a lot of scratches in the front to rear direction, not swirl marking. It was definitely something like it was sanded but done very poorly. So so that's what I'm going to start off with, and we'll zoom in here. I want you to take a look at me putting the polish that I have on the pad, so you can see how much I'm putting on and if I'm putting it on correctly. And then we'll go to the car and just let you, if you could evaluate my technique, how much pressure I'm using, if the buffer's going fast enough, and then we'll go from there. And then I'll shut it off once I do just this section, and then we'll probably figure out what to film next and then pick it up from there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the polish on the pad now, so Ethan, go ahead and zoom in. If you could, Ethan. Let's see, we've already got this stuff on in the previous video. So, alright, so I usually just sort of put it on there, and then I'll take my finger and just kind of spread it around, and I hope I'm using enough. The pad already had some in there, actually from my using it just before I started filming, so so there's a little bit more in the pad than it looks like, but yeah. So that's kind of what I start with. All right, and then Ethan, if you'll go ahead and just zoom back out so you can see the overall picture. I always put the pad on the surface of the car so I'm not slinging stuff everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'll do my section, shut it off, and then talk a little bit more. I'm not pressing very hard. I'm kind of letting the buffer do most of the work. Just trying to keep an eye on how much polish is left. Okay, so if you'll zoom back out, I'm going to just finish up a few words here. So that's sort of a typical section. I'll try to work, and you know, the hood, I might divide the center of the hood up into 2 sections, and so ultimately the hood might constitute, say, 6 sections total, or maybe 4 or 5, just depending on, you know, how it breaks down. And I've done that work a couple times on this particular panel, and I've still got some front to rear scratching, and I've still got a few swirl marks in there that I just can't seem to get them to go away. And I don't know if that's because I'm using a polish that doesn't cut enough, or you know, if I'm not pressing hard enough, or if it's the quality of the pads, like you mentioned in the thread that we started discussing this on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll take my towel and just buff this out, and we'll hit this with the camera, but I don't expect that we're going to get anything really good. I mean, this is a pretty expensive video camera, but the light in here is really poor quality, so I don't expect that even with the good optics on the camera we'll get much. So let me go ahead and buff this off, and then I'll say a few closing words, and then I'll try to get this uploaded to YouTube so you can take a look. Right, so I use almost exclusively, what, Ethan?
Should we cut it into 2 pieces?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So I use almost exclusively the DF towels from detail.mpg. I guess these are like an Egyptian cotton microfiber, and they're really, really soft. I typically don't use these for drying or anything other than like buffing. So I have some towels that I've been using specifically with polishes, and then I have some that I use specifically for buffing. I usually use Zano for waxing. So anyway, let's go ahead and just get this cleaned up here. This towel is actually dirty, so let me get a different one.
Can we get a zoom in on the towel?
No, you don't use it on towel. Towel's towel. You got that. Okay. So if I get this cleaned up, you know, it doesn't look bad. It seems like the paint almost has like a haze to it that is almost, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it's almost like the paint is cloudy. You know, and I can't seem to get that glass finish that doesn't look like it's got a lot of scratches in it. So, you know, this is actually even better. This time, you know, now it looks pretty good. Just looking, I've got a fluorescent light sitting up over here that I can catch the reflection in. But if I look at it from this angle, I can still see a lot of just micro fine scratches that run, you know, sort of up through this area in here, and then it sort of gets better up toward the top of the fender curve. So I don't know, maybe I'm not applying pressure, you know, evenly down into this section. It's getting better, but like I said, I've probably been over this panel, you know, that was probably my 5th or 6th time now, and there's still a little bit of haze and scratching, and I just don't know how to get rid of that. So I'll get this video uploaded to YouTube, and hopefully you can take a look and give me some good pointers on where to go with this, because obviously this is a nice car, and I don't want to just continue wasting clear coat trying to get this stuff polished out. So that's that. I appreciate you taking a look at my video. I hope that what I've shown you is enough for you to do something with, and that I'm not a complete dolt with a buffer in my hand. Thanks very much.